everyone, I'm Eileen Hull from Sizzix, and I am here at Scrapbook.com, and I have a brand new tool to show you. It's coming out in the spring, and it's called the Twist and Style tool, and it's made up of two pieces. And the reason that this tool is different, there are other tools that will twist wire or yarn or string, but the special part about this tool is it has an anchor, so you can do it by yourself. The old fashioned one, you had to have someone hold the other end of it because you need two hands to crank it. So this is like gold. You just want to make sure that it's down on a very smooth surface. You press, and then this locks it in. If you are working on some surface that is not smooth, you can get a C-clamp and just clamp it to your table. So that's your clamp. Now the other thing that you're going to need is wire or a material to twist. I'm using 20 gauge wire right here, but you can use any kind. You can combine different thicknesses of wire and twist them all together to make different patterns, colors, and you can also do yarn and twine embroidery floss, so we'll see that in a minute. But I just want to show you how it works with the metal. So here is some wire, and I just took it, and you just want to remember to double it. So this is like one long strand, oops, that I kind of bent in the middle. Now I wrecked it. But you're just going to want to take your little button or whatever it is and set that in the middle. You can use crystals, or this is a shank button. You could use beads. And that will give you like the center of a flower, and that's kind of what I was going to use this piece for. You can also use it to make jewelry. There's all kinds of different ways to use it. But so what I have is two strands of wire, different colors, and I have put a button on the end. And now I'm going to just trim the ends because there are two ways that you can twist. So I'm just going to trim off the extra. And now here is the one end. So this is where you just take all your wires and kind of bundle them together and insert them in the end here. This is a little screw that you can screw them in, and that keeps them nice and tight together when you're twisting. So I'm just going to take the button, and here you'll see there's a little nail top, so that helps it to not fall out. And I'm going to set that right in the little groove there. And then I'm just going to smooth out my wire and start twisting. And you're going to see how, oops, I might have, no. Even if you get them kind of crinkled, they will twist in. So you'll see how that works. And then there's a really cool pattern when you're done. So if you want, you can make them really tight. This is pretty tight, but you can make them looser if you want. And the number of times that you rotate the handle is how tightly wrapped it will be. So this one, I think I had a little bump there, but if I kept twisting, it would flatten out. Another thing that you can do is you can take a metal block and a hammer, and you can pound that and it will flatten it, and you can use that for trims on mixed media projects or whatever you'd like. Okay, so now we have the stem for our flower. The next thing I want to show you is how to make the flower to add on to the stem. So this is one of my new flowers that are coming out in the spring. There are 5 flowers, one set of leaves, and then there are a set of 6 containers that kind of go with flowers that you can add them to kind of embellish them. So what we're going to do to make the flower is I have 2 pieces of tissue paper right here, and I'm going to fold them together and just kind of make them into one size that will go through my Big Shot. So this, I think we counted, and this is 32 layers of tissue paper, and they fit great. They go through without a problem. We probably could do 64 out of tissue paper. You couldn't do that with cardstock. So I'm just going to lay that on top of my die, and I'm going to roll that through. So when I take it out of my machine, I want to kind of slide this across. Sometimes this gets like static and these pieces will fly all over. For what we're doing, we're going to just stack them on there, so we'd like them to stay in position. So I'm going to start with the smallest one. I'm going to pop that out, and I'm going to thread that on my stem that we just made with the Twist and Style tool. I'm just going to thread it through. Now you can use any flower, any layered flower that you want to do this. And I like to use it with two kind of, not contrasting, but complementary colors. And then when you fluff it, it's really pretty. You can see kind of a subtle difference. So I'm just taking them out and loading them on. And you can make them thinner if you like. I kind of like them full. So just poking them through. Okay. So what we have is our button, and then we have 4 layers. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to scrunch them all into the center. And it takes a little while. You can do this while you're watching a movie or TV, your favorite show. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking about, I don't know, 4 or 5 pieces at a time, and I like that they fall around different ways so that they don't all fall in the same pattern, so it looks separate and more fluffy. So I'm just going to repeat that with every layer, and then you get the differentiation of the color, and plus it's kind of fun to just squish flowers and come out with a really pretty finished product. Okay, so now I have scrunched all of these pieces into the center, and this is the fun part. We're going to fluff that out, and you have a really pretty, I don't know what flower that would look like, maybe carnation or just pretty. So if you have an event, a wedding or a party, or just you want to put this on the front of a card, this is a really quick and easy way. I like it because now we have a stem, we can put it in a vase. So the other piece that you might want is, you will see, if you don't put a little stopper here, these are all going to fall off. So we have come out with a new gadget called the Flower Cali, and they'll be available when you'll get some when you buy the Twist and Style tool, but you can also buy them separately. And what you do is you just slide them up the stem. So I'm going to do that. And that holds them right in place. Isn't that cool? And it looks like a little calyx to a flower. You can also twist in leaves. You could add beads or buttons or anything if you wanted before you start twisting, and that will just kind of encase them in the twist, and you can add things on that, little crystals, whatever you like. So that's our little flower that we have. So I'd like to show you a sample made by my friend Anita, and it demonstrates a bunch of different techniques and ways that you can use this tool. She used wire, and she used a thin wire. I'm not sure what gauge it was, but she used it first to twist the stem for the flower, and then she coiled it. So she used a gold and a silver, and then she also, and I love this one little detail, she made kind of a little heart at the top of the tag. And then she used it also to coil a long piece, and then she twisted it into the word love and stapled it down, which I think is just amazing. And I also love the whole tag and the whole feel of it, kind of a steampunk look. But you can see how it could be adapted into all different kinds of styles. So now I want to show you one more way you can use this tool, and that is with yarn and soft materials. So I'm going to place my anchor down again, unlock it, and then I'm going to show you how to create a friendship bracelet with embroidery floss. And you can also use ribbon, that works great, or I mean yarn. Here are a couple samples that I did. You can twist in buttons, and kids would love this. It's really fun. Here's kind of a longer piece, so I'll show you how you do that. So we're going to use the other end of the tool. This is the hook. And what I've done is just taken 3 strands of embroidery floss, and then I'm going to make an overhand knot and just tie that so we have a continuous loop. And then I'm going to take this end and place it in the nail. Now you have to step back a little bit, and I'm going to take the kind of the loop end of the tool. And I like to get this nice and tight so that I have a pretty good twist. It's easier to tell when you're twisting different colors because you can see how taut the material is getting. When you're doing one color, it's a little harder, but you can kind of feel that and see how much it's tight together. So that seems pretty good. So I'm going to slip that off, the one end with the hook, and I'm going to take the hook itself and put that about in the middle. I'm going to bring this up here, oops, and take it off the nail. And then, this is the fun part, watch it twist. And it will kind of relax a little bit too, and you can stop it if you want. And then I usually just lay this down. The one thing you have to remember is that you want to tie off the top. If you don't do that, it'll all fall out. So just remember to do that. And then you can trim it, or you can use this for, I've seen where people make little tassels, which I think would be cute. So then you're just going to slip it off, and you've got a nice little bracelet. So now you have a nice knot here, and you have this other end. So you're just going to open that up a little bit, and then you put it around your wrist, and this will close back up, and it tightens, and then it keeps on your wrist. Isn't that pretty and fun and fast? And you can see how easy it would be to kind of pull these apart and use a jump ring and put little charms or beads or whatever you like on here, and I think kids would love that. So that's how you use it with soft material. I hope you'll check out the Twist and Style tool. Coming soon.